Have you ever planned out the perfect weekly routine, color-coded calendar, blocked time for deep work, gym, journaling, reading, you name it, only to abandon it by day 3? Routines promise structure and clarity, but they can also leave us feeling guilty if we don't stick to them. Why? Because we design them for our ideal self, not our real self. A routine isn't helpful unless it supports you even when life gets messy. If you're new here, I'm Miles, and on this channel, I share how I'm designing a more intentional and fulfilling life through systems, routines, and lessons I'm learning along the way. Right now, I'm working full time while growing this YouTube channel on the side and honestly just trying to make the most of my life. So let's talk about why most routines or schedules fall apart and how to build one that actually sticks. Most routines fail not because we're lazy or unmotivated, but because they're built on a bad assumption, which is that I'll have the same energy and motivation every day that I do right now. You might plan out a routine that looks like wake up at 6 a.m., journal, meditate, go to the gym, do deep focused work for 4 hours, eat clean, no screen time after 9. It all sounds amazing in theory, but that's only if everything goes perfectly. Day 1, you might feel pretty hyped about the new routine. Day 2, maybe you're still feeling pretty good. Day 4, you're tired, behind on work, not really in the mood for the whole routine thing. And by day 5, you're back to square one. That perfectly planned routine is out the window, and a few weeks later, you're trying to start the whole thing over again. This isn't really a you problem, it's more of a design problem, so what should we do instead? Design for low motivation days. Minimum viable routine. I'd say don't build routines for your best days, build them for your worst. This means designing a schedule that you can still follow even when you're tired, busy, or not really feeling it. This is what I call the minimum viable routine. It's kind of like the lowest effort version of your routine that still keeps you aligned. So if you could only do one habit or one aspect of your daily routine consistently, what would it be? A workout, journaling, reading a chapter of your book, 90 minutes of focused study, quality time with your family. Pick one and then build around that anchor. For me, it used to just be a 60-minute deep work session first thing in the morning. That was my bare minimum. Some days that was all I had in me, but just that one habit or piece of my ideal daily routine was enough to still move the needle forward and build some consistency and motivation, and then eventually I could get more consistent with other aspects as well. One big mistake I used to make early on is that I'd plan out the entire day, every minute, and the moment that I started getting off track, it's like, okay, well, you might as well throw the whole day away because I missed this one, workout, or this one thing took too long, or something unexpected came up. The minimum viable routine stops that spiral, and you always have some win to fall back on. So don't overload your calendar or pick 10 different priorities for the next day, because if everything's a priority, then nothing's a priority. Start with just 2 to 3 things max. We basically want to get to the point where we train our brain to think that if this event is on my calendar or this task is on my to-do list for the day, it means that I'm actually going to get it done. Instead of just loading it up with a bunch of things that would be nice to get done or you might want to do, we want to build this kind of trust with our calendar and make it this sort of sacred space. By the way, if you want help designing routine that fits your lifestyle, aligns with your goals, and is something that you can actually stick to, I'm working on a program called Purposeful Productivity. I'll put some info about that in the description. There's a link and a place to sign up for the waitlist, things like that. Go check it out if you're interested. Start with identity, not habits. So here's a subtle shift that made a big difference for me personally. I stopped trying to build habits and instead started trying to embody identity. I'm trying to wake up earlier versus I am an early riser. Or I want to cut back on drinking versus I don't drink. Even if you're not 100% there yet, claiming this identity tells your brain that this is who I am. I used to say things like I need to start working out more, or I want to try exercising or lifting weights more often, and now I just tell myself that I am a person who works out every day, and that's my identity. And then every time you do actually follow through on something, it becomes a vote for that identity. It's not about being perfect, but just reinforcing who you are. So if there's a new identity that you're stepping into right now, try just claiming it directly, asserting that that is who you are, even if you're not there yet, and you'd be surprised how much your actions follow your language. We can still be proud of who we are right now, but I don't think that that's as important as who we are becoming. So try writing this down. The kind of person I'm becoming is someone who, then list 3 actions that would prove that identity today. Make your environment do the work. You don't need more willpower, you just need to design a better environment. Most people overemphasize the need for discipline and underestimate how much their environment shapes their behavior. When I wake up at 5 a.m., I'm definitely a little bit groggy, no matter how good of a night's sleep I got. And if I have to dig through my drawers to find some socks or pants, that little bit of friction is enough to derail me. But if I lay out my clothes the night before and put them right next to my alarm clock, it's almost just as easy to get dressed as it is to go back into bed. So what else can you do to reduce the amount of willpower needed to go throughout your day? Or what decisions do you make regularly that you can either automate or make once and for all? Even things like your phone screen layout can matter, because if you've got Instagram on your home screen and you're getting pinged with notifications all day, picking up your phone and wasting time scrolling for a couple hours is a choice that your environment is making for you. Your environment is kind of like a personal assistant. It can either be a really bad one that constantly distracts you, or a good one that gently guides you back on track. You want to make the right action the easiest one. So ask yourself this: what's one tiny change in your space that would make doing the right thing more frictionless, or create more friction for the thing that you know you shouldn't be doing as often? The perfect day doesn't have to go perfectly. So again, the goal isn't really to build the perfect daily or weekly routine, it's to just build a routine that works even when life doesn't. It took me a while to realize, but a perfect day isn't one where you necessarily stuck to your routine 100%. In my eyes, a perfect day for me is one where I maybe made some intentional progress towards my goals, but most importantly, a day that I just enjoyed living and would want to live again. I watched this movie called Perfect Days. It's about this Japanese guy who basically his job is to clean the public restrooms in Tokyo, and he's got a very regimented, consistent routine where he wakes up and he goes around and cleans these toilets. But throughout the day, there are these little unexpected things that come up, whether it's, you have to watch the movie. I don't want to necessarily spoil it, but those unexpected things often end up being the highlights of his day. But he still has this kind of core routine that keeps him grounded, and there's just this nice balance between simplicity and consistency, but also novelty and excitement. Routines aren't meant to turn you into this productivity robot. They're just your default rhythm. Sometimes life will pull you in new directions, a spontaneous outing, an unexpected call, a nap you didn't plan on. And I honestly used to resist those moments and tried my hardest to stick to my exact routine, but now I kind of lean into those a bit. I let them happen. One day I enjoyed recently, I had planned out a bunch of stuff that I was going to get done that day because I think I was off work, and I started the day following my schedule, getting some deep work done in the morning, and I had planned a certain time to exercise, and I wanted to start this other project in the afternoon. And then I had some friends text me asking, okay, hey Miles, do you want to go to the gym? And I was like, I hesitated at first because the old me would have said, no, sorry, I'm busy, because I had this other thing planned out and I didn't want to mess up my whole schedule. But I ended up going, having a great workout. We went to dinner, had some great conversations, and I came back home just feeling good and satisfied with the day, even though it didn't go particularly to plan. So although discipline and consistency definitely matter, so does intuition, and your routine is just like this supporting structure for it all. Sometimes my best days are ones where I get everything done that I want to and I feel super productive, and that's great. But other times my best days are ones where they don't really go to plan, but I flow with them intentionally, and that's what a good routine allows you to do. Common mistakes that sabotage your routine. All right, let me just quickly walk through a couple of traps that used to completely derail my routine's consistency, just stress and overall enjoyment of daily life. If you catch yourself doing any of these, it doesn't mean you're failing. It just means you might need to zoom out a bit and realign. But again, figure out whatever works best for you. This is just my experience. The first one is just overloading the morning. And this is really easy to do, especially with all the, fancy morning routine advice out there. You wake up and expect yourself to journal, meditate, read, exercise, eat a protein-packed breakfast, do deep work, cold plunge, cold shower, whatever. That's a lot of friction and a lot of decisions and energy expended in the morning. If you're struggling with consistency, I'd say start with just 2 main anchors max. Mine is usually just wake up, hydrate, do a few minutes of journaling, and then go straight into a 90-minute focus block. Everything else is a bonus. I'd say start simple, build momentum, and let your morning routine grow and expand over time if you want it to, but less pressure means more consistency. And next, it would be letting just one miss or unexpected thing derail your entire day. You skip a workout or a meeting goes later than expected and you're just like, okay, screw it, I can't get to the rest of the things in my day because my schedule's all messed up. No, one bad moment doesn't turn it into a bad day. And I think being able to hit reset and get back on track is an important skill to build. Copy pasting someone else's routine. What works for someone else might not work for you, and that's completely fine. You can be inspired by someone else's systems, but more likely than not, your energy, responsibilities, and rhythms are completely different. So don't be afraid to customize things to your needs. So if you've been struggling to stick to any sort of routine, it might not be a you problem, and more so just that routine doesn't work for your current lifestyle and you just need to kind of retune your system. But if you have been copy pasting someone else's routine and it's been working for you, that's awesome. But if it doesn't, that's fine too. Now is your chance to kind of listen to your own rhythms, and the best routine is going to be one that really feels like your own and like it's customized for your specific life situation, which is unique for all of us. So if something doesn't click at first, it's not failure. It doesn't mean that you suck and you're lazy. It's just feedback that you might need to make some changes. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing. I make videos every week on designing a more intentional and fulfilling life through blending systems, mindsets, health, and more. And if you want to go deeper, click the link in the description to join the waitlist for Purposeful Productivity. It's a program where I'll help you build a sustainable system for your life that keeps you focused and consistent even when life gets messy. Have a great rest of your week. I will see you in a bit.